Scream of the Butterfly. What a great title. Jim Morrison liked it so much, in fact, that he included it as some of the lyrics in his song When the Music Is Over.
The scream of the butterfly.
Pretty cool. Welcome to Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob. Today I'm taking a look at Scream of the Butterfly from 1965, and we open on a woman screaming.
I lied, I cheated, I made a fool of him for you.
I'm warning you, Marla!
Degenerate, damn it, shut up! You paid!
Man, doesn't she sound just like Mink Stole in Desperate Living?
Go home to your mother! Doesn't she ever watch you? Tell her this isn't some communist daycare center!
I should probably do a John Waters film at some point. Well, anyway, back to this film. That woman is hit by a car and dies. Aww. And then we hop over to a few attorneys talking about the murder case. And this is how the movie will progress. We'll have these attorneys in the office talking about the case, and then we, the audience, will see details from the case told in flashback. Other people will enter the office, a defense attorney, a psychiatrist, they'll fill in some more details, and then we get to see more of those details in flashback. Yeah, not a bad way to put a movie together. Pretty cool. Sure, it's not groundbreaking. I mean, Akira Kurosawa did it in Rashomon way back in 1950, and he probably wasn't even the first one to do it either. I don't know who was. But Rashomon's super cool, though. You should watch that. So, what is the story here? Well, we have this young, hot trophy wife, Marla, played by Nélida Lobato. Oh, she's the wife of the director, I believe. And she has recently married Paul, and the two are staying in a hotel. I guess it's kind of a honeymoon situation. That doesn't matter. What does matter is that Marla looks fantastic in a bikini. She looks wonderful kissing some beach hunk in the surf, and she looks like I have to rewind my VHS tape 5 times when she's in the bubble bath. Anyway, the story. That's what we're here for, right? The story. Well, the husband, Paul, he can't swim very well, but he's happy enough to just lounge around, and Marla is happy enough to go to the beach by herself to get some laps in. But one day at the beach, she meets David and falls for him hard. I mean, he is super hot, so I get it, I guess. I get it. Thus starts a very steamy love affair where they kiss a lot on the beach, the waves lapping at Marla's legs, and David lapping at Marla's. Pretty hot. But we already know that he's going to kill her, so something about this affair isn't going to work out. And now all of the major players are in place. We have the hot trophy wife, the rich, cuckolded husband, the new super hot boy toy, and it all ends in a murder. And I don't want to give away too much more of the story, so let's move on to some highlights. Well, highlight number 1, I already mentioned how hot the people are. Marla and David, wow. Beyond that, and I guess we don't really need much beyond that, but there is some beyond that. And one thing is the story. I don't want to give too much away, but it goes to some really surprising places, and you'll have a lot of fun. In fact, it's one of those movies where when you hear the last line, your jaw kind of drops, and then various events from the movie start to replay in your head as you put the pieces kind of together, and then you immediately just want to watch the whole movie again from the beginning. Yeah. It's that kind of movie. But again, no spoilers. And in telling the story, sometimes the dialogue is very good.
Like I said, I'm here to listen.
Come on, it's open and shut.
So's a mousetrap. Doesn't mean you catch a mouse every time it shuts.
Even when it misses, it makes a hell of a noise.
Of course, at other times, it's mind-numbingly terrible.
Marla, I forgive you. You didn't know what you were doing. We have to live together. There is no other way.
So I guess we'll call that one a draw. Oh, I will say, though, about the dialogue, sometimes the language they use is very not PC. So if you're one of these PC, SJW types, wait a minute. Nobody like that is watching my channel. Let's go on. Acting, well, kind of middle of the road. Sometimes it's very good. I do rather like the lawyers bickering at each other, but fine actors in that room. Other times it's pretty bad. So again, I'm going to say that's a draw. Okay, well maybe the dialogue and the acting aren't super terrible. It's just that I don't know, maybe I've lived in Europe too long and have adopted too many of their sensibilities, but it's just a little too lovey-dovey at times. I mean, we're not really like that over here. We don't say things like, "Oh, David, I love you. Please don't ever leave me." That's just too much. Here in Europe, it's more like, life is meaningless and the world is dying, but when you stand there in the doorway with my oversized t-shirt and no underwear on, I know you'll be able to convince me to buy croissants. So, it's a cultural difference. Anyway, back to the movie. Beautiful people, a fair bit of nudity, a pretty cool story with some twists and turns, and it's all set to this upbeat, rather good jazz score. Sounds great, right? Well, maybe, but it's not perfect. Like a cheating wife topless in the surf, it has some shortcomings. Well, I've already mentioned a few of the shortcomings. The dialogue is a bit hokey and the acting is a bit wooden at times, but beyond that, the movie runs a little bit too long, which is surprising because it's only like an hour and 18 minutes. But what happens is, when the lawyers in the room are recounting some of the story elements, they repeat some of the things, like as they get new information, and then in the flashback, some shots are recycled, which would be okay, but there's a bit too much recycling and a bit too much of using the same shots over and over. I mean, I do like the idea of them telling the story and recounting the events, and then we, the audience, seeing those events in flashback. That's pretty cool. I do wish they had played more with that, though, and as they got more information, maybe from new people showing up in the room, we would see maybe the same scene from a different point of view, or the same scene with more important details, to kind of play on the subjective nature of storytelling. That would have been cool. Doesn't really happen. Kind of a missed opportunity. That's about it, really. This is a sexy movie with a fun story that goes to some really surprising places. And yeah, even though it's a bit long and it repeats itself a little bit, it's still not long. I mean, not objectively speaking. So, check it out.